So I think I'm live. I can't see the comments on Facebook today, so I'm just gonna make sure. Maybe I'll see today. I'm just gonna look in the Facebook group as well. So yeah, I can see that I'm live. So I'm gonna have my phone on Facebook because it. This is the third. I think it's the third live I run today, and I haven't been able to get the comments any of the any of the lives inside Facebook, the streaming tool. So I'm just gonna set up it as well here. So hi, welcome, and you who are new in my group, welcome to my group, where I talk a lot about lead generation, a lot about marketing, a lot about running live converting events. So I call my group Attract, Speak, Convert, and Scale, because that is what we do inside my program, and that is what I talk a lot about. So hi Serena. Oh, I can see the comments now. Perfect. Thank you so much. And now I can actually see the comments inside Facebook. I got so surprised that it jumped up here. So welcome. Thank you for letting me know that it works perfect. So great. Now it's all fixed. So, and you who are new to my group, welcome. Some of you comes from a challenge that I run last week that was the Get Clients Accelerator. That is a free 3-day program that I run every now and then. So some of you come from there, some of you come from other groups where I invite you to this group. And today I will talk about marketing and lead generation, because this is something that we have right now worked a lot, focusing on a lot inside my incubator with my clients. What I do with my clients is that I run live training every week. So we do have a course platform, of course, we recorded things, but what is important, what I feel is really important when building an offer, especially in a market space where things is happening really fast. And in my niche, in my market, things are happening really, really fast. So you always need to kind of get fresh stuff in because things change, okay? And I want my clients to be kind of the top of everything that I learn myself, since I am an incubator, okay? So we talked a lot about marketing and lead generation, and that is something that I teach, of course, and that I have talked about a lot, how to kind of elevate above the noise, because it's kind of noisy. It's a lot of people online, and it sometimes feels like we are the world's best kept secret. So we know we have an amazing product. If only people knew we existed, right? That is a huge problem. And one part of closing that gap or solve that problem is to run live converting events. But today I really want to dig a little more deep into marketing and lead generation. So when we start online and we start working online and we craft together our first offer and we run our first masterclass, whatever, so it's natural to focus on lead generation, right? It's natural to focus on that because that is what we need to close clients. This is what's going to give us money in the bank, fast money in the bank, right? You get a lead, it's a one-time transaction. So you give something away and you get the lead back. It could be an email address, it's a person, but you get an email address or you get someone joining your group or something like that. That is a lead. Then I'm going to talk a little more deeper about leads later in this training, because I think we need to start really focusing on how the quality of those leads. But that is lead generation, a one-time transaction like this. And I usually refer it to picking fruit from a tree. So you pick one fruit, that is the lead. The fruit is here, lead, okay? Marketing. Marketing is when you build your brand online. That is when you nurture your audience. That is when you kind of become that category of one, you know? And that is where you create the content. That is not a lead generation content. It's two different things. Marketing is kind of the heartbeat of your business, you know? Without marketing, you need to generate leads and you need new leads all the time. This is one thing that a lot of new entrepreneurs don't really focus on. So we only focus on lead generation. Marketing is planting that tree you pick the fruit from, right? So you actually can pick fruit years from now, and that tree is just going to grow. It's attraction marketing, okay? So when we are new, it's easy. We need to do lead generation, and you need to do lead generation all the time. But if you never start building your marketing, your brand online, plant that tree, never nurturing the people that said yes to you over here, the lead that said, yes, I want to join your masterclass. If you just put that in the masterclass, that person don't buy. So you just, throw that away, start generating more leads. You're going to be caught up in an endless cycle of hustling to chase leads. It's exhausting, right? It's exhausting. So what you really also want to do is build marketing, build your brand online. And this, of course, it's going to be, we built it in layers. I can't teach everything, right? But I really want you to think about that. You need to sometime also look at your marketing to build that brand online, to become that go-to person, to own a part of your marketing, build great content to nurture those people that said yes to you, because you leave money on the table. So let's say we generate leads inside a masterclass, we run it, we close to clients. Then we just don't care. So we just invite them again to the next masterclass. We start chasing new leads close to clients. And then we end up doing that. So we actually don't honor the people that said yes, because you want to nurture them with great content. You want to nurture them by inspire them. You want to nurture them by being there when they get stuck, to give them some inspiration, to say to them, yeah, I have been there too. It's going to be all right. I'm going to be there to catch you. Here is an inspirational post or something like that. And you want to be there to continue teaching them. And you want to be there to give them hope. And you want to be there to tell them how you can help them, and with great content, to own that. Because it's going to take, I think it's 26 touches you need to do on a person before you make an impact. So if you think about, if you always just chase new people in, you actually leave a lot of money on their table, because the only thing you need to do is to reach out to them and say to them, hey, I'm here for you. If you want to learn this, I'm here for you, give you inspiration. I'm here for you doing this. Here is a video. Here is a, I can feel where you are. Nurture that audience, you know? And when I say branding, I'm not talking about fonts, colors, stuff like that. I'm talking about you, building a brand around you. That is what marketing is. That is the heartbeat. And I really want to give you that kind of start thinking about that, to not only focusing on lead generation. Okay, that is the difference between lead generation and marketing. So when it comes to marketing, because lead generation is only complicated if you make it complicated, okay? And lead generation is something that I think we need to go from chasing those kind of large numbers and focus on quality. It's way more easy to get qualified leads in than to get a lot of leads, okay? And at the end of the day, all those leads that are never ever going to buy, they mean nothing. And if you look at the conversion rate, they're gonna fuck it up. That is the truth. If you go out there and you're just focusing on numbers, so you're focusing on generating 500 leads a week, that is 2,000 leads per month. With a normal conversion rate, you should close 2.5% of them. And then you think about how many clients that is, and then you multiply it with the offer you have. That is how much money should be in your bank. Otherwise, the lead generation is off. You need to know your numbers. When it comes to lead generation, you can't go out and just start generating leads without doing reverse numbers. And ask yourself, okay, I want to earn 10K a month. My offer is XYZ numbers. I need so many clients to get there. I need to know how many leads of the actual leads that are qualified. I need to know how many of the qualified leads that I closed. That is my conversion rate. Okay. So it's really, really important to know your numbers. You can't do lead generation without knowing numbers. It's just shooting in the blank, just out in the space, having no goal, just boom, like this. So you need to do reverse, count reverse. How much money, how many leads, conversion rate, vice versa. If you don't know your conversion rate, start counting on 2.5% because that is the norm for all businesses. It might sound little, yeah, that is what it is. That is the usual norm for businesses. It's 2.5%. So if you don't know your conversion rate, start count. Then you can start count backwards how many leads you actually need. And if you generate way more leads than you actually need, lead generation is off. Or it's the wrong leads. Or your offer is the wrong offer for that audience, right? It could be a lot of things. But I think over the last 6 months, that kind of chasing numbers on lead have just exploded. It's post after post how many leads they generate. And then you look at how much money they say, and you think like, yeah, your offer needs to be a really low ticket offer. Otherwise, this doesn't add up. It doesn't add up. I want to say, if you generate leads into a Facebook group to have the kind of future that you want to build the membership to get people to pay to promote in that group, that is a different thing, because then the ones that actually later buy the membership is the lead. So that you can't compare to selling an offer to that group. That is your dream client. But if you want to generate leads for your dream clients, yeah, you need to start focusing on quality. Leave the number chasing, know your numbers, start qualify those leads, and they're getting inside. So we only targeting. It's better to have a small audience that love what you do, that believe what you do, that is going to buy, than a large audience that doesn't care about you. You don't need them, okay? It's just stressful. So that is what I want to say about lead generation. When it comes to your marketing, you really want to think about that you can't be visible online and stand out in the market space if you do what everybody else is doing. You can almost look online and you can almost take away the name from the posts and you can't see the difference. There is no heart. There is no convictions. There is no beliefs. It's just words, the same words. You can actually see a lot of copy and paste. And the copy and paste mentality is huge. It's huge. Because you run after the first thing you see online that is trendy and that is going viral, right? It's the same thing to think about that you're going to be more visible by doing what everybody else is doing. But it's the vice versa. When you do something that other people don't do, that is when people see you. Because you stand out and people are just, what? Right? What are you doing? What are you doing? This is not the trend. No, don't follow trends. You don't need to follow every new trend. Follow the things that you feel from your heart that this is how I want to build my brand. If you don't want to dance on TikTok, you don't need to. But if you are that person, that is a part of your brand, go there. Do it. Dance your heart out, you know? If you feel like, no, I don't feel comfortable in doing reels on Instagram or be on Instagram, even everybody says that is the only way to grow your business, and you feel like, no, don't be there. Don't go out of whatever you believe in just because it's trendy or just because people say it, right? Look to yourself, look inside and tell yourself that I'm going to be a leader, not a follower. Okay? Don't care what other people do and what they say. Work like this, blindfolds on, just don't look at it. Because as soon as you do, it's easy to get kind of that shiny object syndrome. So you go after it and you see some viral thing over here and you think, oh, wow, if I just went viral, everybody would buy from me. No, they won't. They won't buy from you until they trust you. Okay? That has nothing to do with you going viral for a post you copy and paste it. That is not, at the end of the day, that's going to build a solid foundation of a business. And if it's something that I'm really tired of, is all this, it's so easy, just copy and paste my 365 posts and you're going to get endless of clients. No, you want to build a following that makes sense. You want to build a following that love what you do, that love you, that want to be around you because you give them hope. They are already believers of whatever you are teaching, your system, whatever that is, right? So that is how you need to build your marketing. You need to look inside and think about, okay, the marketing that I do is going to be the heartbeat of my business. That is going to show people who I am, my stories, what I can do, my knowledge, my conviction, my beliefs, and my opinions. Then the only one that is going to follow that is the people that love you, the people that are already believers in whatever you are teaching. Those people are really qualified when it comes to lead generation in that audience because they already believe in your system, right? You can just reach out to them and say to them, hey, I know we have been friends for a while. I know you love what I do. I'm actually hosting a masterclass next week. Do you want to join? They will say yes, everyone, because they have been in your circle. They love what you do already. That is how to build the following that makes sense. That is how to plant the tree that is going to give you leads forever. Okay? So that is why it's so important to not only focusing on lead generation. In the beginning, yeah, you need to do that. But later along the way, when you want to start scaling, when you want to start growing, when you want to be that category of one, you can't only focus on lead generation. Don't get so caught up in numbers. Know your numbers, focus on quality. Okay? Then you actually don't need such a large audience. You do not need thousands of people in your Facebook group to close a client. You just need one person, actually, if that's the right person. Okay? So I really want you to change that mindset and think that I am not a follower. I'm going to be a leader. I'm going to lead my business. I'm going to lead my brand. I'm going to become that expert. I'm going to become that category of one. I am going to become that specialist. That is who I'm going to be. I'm not going to care about how other people do it. I'm going to do it my way. Why? Because it's tied back to my convictions, whatever I believe in. Okay? Think like that. What I also important when it comes to your marketing is it needs to be clear and simple. This is where a lot of people have a hard time get qualified leads and get closed clients is because we're all over the place. So we one day talk about something, the next day we talk about, let's say we talk about attraction, what do you call it? Like meditation to attract money. And the next day we talk about system and lead generation. And the next day we talk about how to lose weight. I have 10 templates of losing weight for whatever. The next day you talk about something completely different, maybe running ads on YouTube for some kind of car, retail, whatever, all over the place because you chase something you have seen online. When you try to speak to a lot of people at the same time, you speak to no one because people are going to get confused. People won't pay your high ticket because people are going to pay high ticket for a specialist, not a generalist. Okay? So when someone land on your social media, on your Facebook group, on your Facebook profile, on your LinkedIn, whatever it is, or Instagram, it needs to be super clear what you do and who you help. No confusing whatsoever. Needs to be really clear and simple. Okay? All the messages, everything you write, everything you do, make sure it's simple and it's super clear. No confusing things, right? A confused mind don't take action. They do nothing. So as soon as you confuse your audience, they will not take action. That at the end of the day, no one do. Okay? So clear and simple in your messaging. When it also comes to be able to stand out online and have a strong marketing to get qualified leads, to attract an audience, is to focus on core outcome. And this is where we come down to this qualified, becoming the expert to focus on something. So you need to ask yourself, what is the core outcome that I'm going to provide for my clients? You need to know the core outcome that your client gets from working with you, the problem that you solve, and the core outcome. That core outcome needs to be what your clients want. You can't attract an audience by speaking to something you know they need when that is actually not what they want. I learned this the hard way when in weight loss. A lot of you know that, because when I crafted my first offers, it was an amazing weight loss program. It was exactly what they needed. And I tried to sell it. Nobody wanted to buy it, because at the end of the day, they don't want to buy your offer. They don't want to buy your program. They want to buy the result. They want to buy what they want. So when I flipped focus from, do you want to become healthy? Do you want to start working out at the gym? You need to do that. You need to do this. And start focusing on the people, what they actually told me. Hey, do you want to lose weight without giving up the cupcake? Because that is how we work inside my program. Or do you want to lose weight without kind of worrying about you can't take that drink out, whatever that is, you know? It sounds kind of tacky that, oh, do I need to target the weight loss? You want to lose weight? Yeah, people spend billions of dollars at the end of the day on stupid things just because it's promising them to lose weight. Just look at that market. That market tells you what they want. They want to lose weight. I didn't understand it, so I didn't sell anything, okay? So that is important when it comes to marketing and lead generation, is that you need to speak to your dream clients' needs, what they want, what they say they want, not what you know they need. They couldn't care less. To attract them inside, you need to speak to them, what they want, what they need, what they feel they need, their problems they have, what they say to you. When they have come into your bubble, so they are in your live launch, they are in your challenge, or they are in a group like this, somehow, you can start speak to them what they actually need, okay? But you can't attract an audience in marketing or lead generation by trying to speak to what you know they need. We actually hate people that think they know better, you know? And this is actually something that comes usually when you have been in business for a while, because you get so caught up in your own business and you feel like, yeah, but I know what they need. It's what, like when I was a personal trainer, I knew what people need. You need to start work out. Come on. Did they want that? No, they wanted to lose weight. You know, it's two completely different things. That might feel strange, but yeah, at the end of the day, that is the fact. Okay. So change your mindset, follow it to leader. Have a clear and simple message. Okay. Have a core outcome, focus on whatever that is. Focus. People pay way more for specialists than a generalist. And the more saturated the market is going to be, the more smart people are going to get. So they really want you to be an expert in whatever that you do, okay? I talked about don't jump on every trendy thing you see online. Ask yourself, is that the way I want to build my business? First of all, if the answer is no, why do you do it? Don't, okay? Then the last thing that I want to talk about is when it comes to building to become that kind of category 1, to build a following that makes sense, you cannot only be teaching. This is something that we usually get kind of caught up in, that we teach. What you also need to understand that you don't want to be a source just for information at the end of the day. You want to build stronger connection with your audience. So you want to think in 3 steps. First of all, when I land on your page, I want to know that you know what you're talking about. So teaching things, how to do things, should be a huge part of your marketing, because that is the only thing that is going to tell people that you know what you do. Okay? So that needs to be in your marketing. If I land on your page or your profile, whatever you use in your social media, and you don't teach anything, yeah, how do I know that you know what you're talking about? You know, there needs to be teaching a part of your marketing. But then when I feel that, yeah, you actually know what you're talking about, I want to know that you are kind of understand what I go through as a customer. That will lay that kind of connection that is built by sharing stories, and that come down to giving people hope that this can work for them as well. It's not only that you know things, now you are that person that knows things, can tell to your audience, it's okay, because I have been there. You're going to be fine. I know it's easy to get stuck. So I share it a lot how I get stuck in tech, because tech is something my dream clients get really stuck in. So I'm there telling them, you don't need that. Come on, I have been there. I know exactly. But I can promise you, there is a way out of that techie mess, you know? It's giving them hope that this can work for them by sharing stories, your own stories, your client stories, you know? Build that strong connection. That needs to be a little part of your marketing. The next thing they want to know before they invest in you is that you are passionate about what you do and why you do it. Why is this so important for you? What are your convictions behind your method? What are your convictions behind your whatever you how you solve the problem? You know, and you know my conviction because I share it a lot about how I was over here, complicated things. I have sales funnels. I had an app. I had all this until I realized that I just needed to start speaking to people like this. Okay. So my conviction is that you don't need all that. I know a better way, the superior way. So that is why I'm so passionate about teaching people how to do live converting events, right? That people need to feel, because when they feel that, you become kind of a mentor for them. You become that person that they go to when they need inspiration, when they need to find the solution to a problem. When they hear about the problem online, they're going to refer you. You're going to be on the top of the mind when this comes up. That should be in your marketing. It shouldn't take over your marketing, but it needs to be a part of it. You need to start sharing your opinions online. Why losing weight by eating a lot of fat and no carbs isn't the way to go? You know a better solution. The better solution is to start counting calories, because then you can eat everything. And I love that. What does that make? It builds a following that makes sense, because they're already believers in your system, whatever you believe in. Okay. So that was just a little bit about lead generation and marketing and the different, and how to implement marketing to elevate above the noise, so you're not staying in the saturated thing down here where there's a lot of people and it's hard to be visible down there. And that comes from elevating your brand online to become that go-to person that everybody sees. So thank you so much. I will be live next week. Next week, we have a live actually from one of my clients, Cindy. She's going to do a live talking about limited beliefs. She's going to announce it on an event inside this group. So for you who are new, live trainings every week in this group that I do and my clients do. I talk a lot about marketing, lead generation, crafting group offers, but mostly live converting events to build a strong brand around live converting events. So thank you so much for this week, and I will see you next week. Bye.